So it looks like the truth is starting to sort of come out now that, this is kind of happening. And, I find it to be, I guess, somewhat of a, of a situation where I'm glad that this is happening. For me anyway, it's easy to kind of look back and say, I was right on something. It's not that I necessarily care that I was right the whole time or whatever, but I guess for me anyway, it is nice to see that, that my take ended up being right on all this stuff. So, like I do think that it's something that, so many people, to me anyway, like when I'm on social media, and I'm on X a lot and stuff like that, and I like using social media and kind of giving my opinions on these things, but I always find it a little bit funny because on social media, there's always these certain groups of fans, and like they used to push other things, like when Xbox was doing, play, like they would push Game Pass nonstop, right? Or they push this, they push that. Now the thing that they push is this Xbox Play Anywhere stuff, right? Every post I see is now you buy it and then you take it with you, despite the fact that we've no numbers on what Play Anywhere, who uses it. Like when you look at any kind of interviews where they bring it up, I think Sarah Bond said something like 20% of people were, they played 20% more on games that were Play Anywhere titles. Now that could mean anything. That could just be that those games were better, or you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily, it's not indicative. And what is 20% more? Like that's that's a big question that I would kind of ask. Like, what does that mean? What does 20% more mean? Like the stuff that they're talking about doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. And the way that they word it is sort of word salad. It sort of reminds me of Kamala Harris a little bit, just like saying a lot of stuff, but not really saying anything, and then you just come around to it and you're just like, okay, well, what did they just say? And I think that's probably where I'm at with this entire thing is we're not really getting any type of numbers. We're not getting really any type of information. Like Microsoft has always kind of hidden this stuff, but now even more so, and they make, but they have these people regurgitating all this stuff like about Play Anywhere. But now it turns out like there's a warning that this Play Anywhere stuff isn't really a big deal because their next quote-unquote Xbox is going to be a PC anyway. And so they're not going to really have, if you look at what they've done with trying to make it so you only have to make one version of a game on Windows or whatever their next platform is, there wouldn't be dual ownership there anymore, right? So that's, I think, something that people need to understand, and that's sort of coming out now, and people are starting to get a little bit aware of this type of situation that's happening. And honestly, I don't understand the thought process behind pushing this thing the way that they are right now. And when we look at these types of things and these types of announcements, to me it's a little bit crazy because like Play Anywhere is like this big gimmick, and people are talking about it now like as if it only existed right now, right? And it's really been around for almost a decade, and the people are like, why didn't you care about it at any other point, right? Like that's the point that I would kind of make. It's like the people that are hawking this stuff are talking about it, and they're like, man, I love Play Anywhere. It's this, and this, and it's so great, and I get you more bang for your buck and all this stuff. But then you look at this, like, where were these tweets? Where were these videos praising this for the last decade? Like nobody was doing that. I don't know. It's like I always feel weird because I'm not like an influencer per se. Like I don't get like the free stuff and things like that. I'm an Xbox fan, certainly, and I like prefer Xbox, and I've got a lot of games and stuff. I don't hate PlayStation or Nintendo. I have both those as well. But for me, I'm just kind of looking at this and I'm like, I'm a rarity because I only play on the console, right? If you were coming to me at any point in time for Xbox news or opinions, I was playing on an Xbox, just an Xbox. I don't play in the cloud. I don't play on a PC. I don't play on a PC handheld. I don't do any of that stuff. I just play on a console. And the same thing with like PlayStation or whatever. It's like I only care about those. I only care about playing on the actual hardware itself. So people often will cite somebody, and I'm not really necessarily attacking anybody. People are allowed to play how they want. I'm not knocking the way that people play, or if you want to play a certain way, more power to you. I'm just saying, for me as an Xbox guy, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm an Xbox guy if I'm playing on PC, because that's not an Xbox, right? It's just not. And it's unfortunate when people do that, in my opinion, or they go to somebody who is utilizing these things, because it's in the minority, right? The people that are out there talking up Play Anywhere and stuff, they're probably only playing on PC anyway, or very rarely playing on an Xbox. I don't really know many people left outside of me that's actually playing on an Xbox, unfortunately. I wish I did. My friend groups went from hundreds of friends on Xbox, and now I think I have 15. I don't know if some of you have seen on X, sometimes people will act like I don't game or something, and then I'll post routinely I'm racking up 7, 10, 15,000 gamer score a month still, and I'm playing games, but my friends have dwindled down to only 15, because I've got some followers and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I'm only friends with people that I actually game with, and those people have all but left the platform. It's unfortunate. I mean, I still have a few good friends that I can still game with, but sadly, it's like most of them have moved on. A lot of them have moved to PlayStation. Some of them have moved to, PC. Some of them, maybe stopped gaming. But, it's kind of getting out there now that like Play Anywhere is like this huge gimmick. And not only is it a gimmick, it looks like it's going to be like looked at for as that. You know what I mean? So it is weird to me. It is kind of strange that that so many people are talking about Play Anywhere, despite the fact that we know that Microsoft is trying to make it so that everybody just makes one version of a game next generation, and that version is on Xbox Magnus or whatever, meaning there is no more dual ownership of a game, right? It's like it like totally defeats the purpose. So I mean, what are the people going to say that really hype this up, and then they see that it's just going to be a situation where, hey, there's not going to be this dual game situation anymore? So yeah, I think that is weird. A bit of a kind of a warning there with how that's going to be, and like so it makes you wonder why they're investing in the Play Anywhere stuff in the first place. It just doesn't feel like it's a genuine thing, like to me anyway. It just doesn't really feel that way. So I hope that you guys like the ripoff and the huckster. It to me, it is so weird to me the way that this is kind of happening, and the way that we're kind of seeing gamers kind of like push this stuff. It is kind of a weird situation, but you guys might feel differently. I don't know. Like, I'm very curious to hear how everybody else kind of feels about this. Like, if you're somebody that pushes Play Anywhere, how do you feel about that, knowing that it's not really going to be a thing, quote unquote, next generation? And the reason why is because Microsoft is using it and kind of making it so the Substack or whatever, the kits, you just gotta, if you're a developer, they're hoping that by making just one version, which, by the way, that sounds like an utter shit show to me. Like, one of the main things that I love about the console is that games are developed specifically for that platform, because whenever we've seen games that usually come to PC, a lot of them are like highly unoptimized and janky, and they run poorly because there's so many different moving targets to hit. And it seems like whenever Microsoft tries to streamline something, it ends up not really working out. So yeah, I mean, to me, that sounds pretty piss poor, but you guys might feel differently. And I mean, they're pushing this stuff again like it's never been around, when Play Anywhere has been around a decade. My question is, where were you hardcore Play Anywhere fanboys for the past decade with this stuff? Right? Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of suspicious to me. And why would you trust, if you're a fan, Why would you trust somebody who's just now hyping this stuff up when it's been around for a decade? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crab Gamer out.